Welcome to Black to Business podcast, and I'm your host Nehemiah. This is a podcast, a safe space where we're going to talk about entrepreneurship, youth, and Africa as a whole. We have partnered with 46 on Earth. It's a pub/restaurant type of a place here in Kopanong Tembisa, number 46, next to St. John Church. They do event hosting, bachelor parties, baby showers, gender reveal, and any form of occasion you might have. I have a very important special guest with me who I respect a lot. He also pushed me to really start this initiative of podcast. I welcome him.
Thanks, Maya. Thanks for welcoming me. My name is Marcus, and I am a young entrepreneur slash have a background of retail management. So I'm glad to be in this space again. I really appreciate your initiative and putting me as a first on the top list of people that you can sit with in the couch and professional enough have water or coffee with, so so yeah. We're going to talk about entrepreneurship. We're going to talk about youth unemployment. We're going to talk about managing time, but we're just going to be very straightforward and be precise to the point that we are facing unemployment, youth unemployment specifically, and we can't just sit back and say it's okay. We need to start working on finding ways to go forward, finding ways to do better, finding ways to grow and just support each other whichever way we can. So yeah, this is the first step of it, and we're looking for many more 10,000 steps to it. So yeah.
Yeah. No, thanks for your time and for being here with us. It really means a lot to me. I really appreciate that. First thing first, can we maybe discuss or define what is entrepreneurship in just basic terms? For me, I would say entrepreneurship is when a person seeks or looks for an idea
Yeah,
to solve a certain problem, a pain point in the community,
100%. Yeah.
in exchange for profit. So that's what an entrepreneurship is.
Yeah.
My guest today, he has a background in retail management.
Yeah.
He's also an entrepreneur, as he said. He's into Ubers, Bolt driving. There's a word for that. E-haling.
E-haling.
Yeah, e-haling. I was looking for that word.
Yeah.
He's into e-hailing. So just to start, how did you end up in management?
Well, I'll take you back. I've always wanted or saw myself as a leader, and I like the fact that you mentioned and defining entrepreneurship as a someone that is a problem solver, someone that finds solutions, sees the gap, and try and cover the gap and scale up from there from a profit perspective. So I love that you're defining it like that. But for me, I believe I've always been a leader in a way, because taking me back to my retail days, I've always inspired and grown and trained teams to be where they are. I have a huge number of successes, but obviously I cannot say that was because of me, because they also were willing to to be in that space, to be grown, to be trained, and to be developed in that space for that time. So that for me is a big achievement that I've done in my life, and I'm looking forward to also continuing pushing people that want to grow and just be that ladder for them to first step and go up from there. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. So from management, you moved. How did you end up into e-hailing? Was it a certain problem, or it was just a personal choice that I'm leaving my job, I'm pursuing this?
So that was more of a personal thing, but in an open or an obvious space would be, remember when you're an entrepreneur, you see the gap, and then you try and uh cover the gap.
Gap.
So that was the niche that I saw, and I saw myself fitting in the market at that time, and I made a decision to switch over to where I am now. So yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you just decided, I'm leaving my job, I'm going into e-hailing.
Yes.
Just like that.
Yeah, bro.
Okay. So I just want to mention something that a lot of young people neglect, especially those who are still in high school, in terms of decision making, on choosing a career after matric, what to study, where to go. Because I was also in a similar situation. After my matric, I didn't know what to study. I was lost. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what I'm into, what I love. So I had a friend who was into mechanical engineering. He chose to pursue mechanical engineering. That's when I followed him without knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
I did mechanical engineering for about 2 years.
Yeah.
I dropped out the second year
Yeah.
into my mechanical engineering. Funny part, I went again and studied mechanical engineering for the second time.
Yeah.
And I dropped out again. I dropped out 2 times in the same course. That's when I realized that, you know what, this is not me. I'm in the wrong place. I need to really figure out myself where to go. So I would say it took me about 5 years to really know and decide what I want to do, and to really know who I am. I think that is very important, to know who you are and where you stand. It takes a lot of time. People tend to rush it. Sometimes it takes time. It took me 5 years to really realize what to pursue and what's going on, especially now, because with the world of technology, there's artificial intelligence now. I would say it's even much more easier than back then. Because now there's a lot of opportunities, especially in the tech world. So yeah, I would say decision making is very important.
It is. It is. We can talk about that the entire day. Making a simple decision. If it takes you longer to make a decision, you must understand that it's very important for you to get to that space of ending up making a decision. What I mean is, it's easy for you to decide now that you want to drink water, but it will take you longer to decide what type of water do you want. Do you want sparkling, or do you want plain, or you want still?
Still.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, no,
so
that's
so
true.
so that is the fundamental of making a decision. So if you're making a decision, also you need to consider what impact is it gonna have for people next to you, for people far away from you, and what benefits you're going to have, what benefits you're going to have. Not that you need to rely on people's emotions or people's views in terms of whether that decision is good or right for you, but you just need to consider, in a sense, that it doesn't have an impact to anyone
Okay. No.
but yourself, and also just it is a decision that resonates with what you believe in and all of that. So
no,
yeah, it's basically that.
no, that's true. I want us to also discuss how important self-discipline is. I've seen it with myself. I have a lot of plans that I would intend to do or to pursue, but I end up falling back and not pursuing some of those plans. And the problem for me is self-discipline. I don't think I've reached that point whereby I have this too much self-discipline that nothing can shake me or nothing can stop in front of me. Because at the end of the day, whatever you do, you need to have self-discipline. So how important that is in the business of, in the world of entrepreneurship and just in life generally.
Yeah, I mean, for the fact that you have a plan, then it means you need to have discipline. Discipline can be defined in so many ways, but one major discipline that always stands out for me is that one that you're still gonna do it even if you are tired.
Even if you don't feel
You
like doing
will
it.
put
Yeah.
1% into it, even if you are tired, even if you don't want to do it, even if
You're sick.
you are sick,
Yeah.
even if, so you will put that 1% into it every time. So that is discipline, and it that is coupled by consistency as well. So
Yeah.
so
No.
they married up together in that sense that they grow together. So if you don't have consistency, you will in a way lack discipline, because you would feel not doing it today and you feel it's okay, then it's fine for you. Then it's gonna measure, or it's gonna give an overall measurement of how disciplined you are, or and all of that. So
Okay.
yeah,
So what you're saying is discipline and consistency, they balance each other.
definitely.
You can't win with one. You need to
Yes.
have both.
No, they are married together.
No, I can actually
So
relate to that. Yeah, because the other one balances the other.
yes,
So if you have one, then it means there won't be any change.
yes.
That makes a lot of
Remember,
sense.
you were specific to say in entrepreneurship, what is discipline means, right?
Mm.
So remember, we defined at first in our opening that entrepreneurship is someone that sees a niche and a reason to solve a certain problem and has a solution and brings it forward in exchange for profits. So in this sense, if you've seen a solution, remember your main priority is to always work on to solving that solution. So that is consistent discipline.
Okay.
So that's basically what it is from my point of view, or from where I'm sitting. That's how I view discipline as.
Yeah, but I think you're actually right, because I've seen this other video on Instagram. I just forgot the name of the guy. He delivers a very informational and educational content. He talks about consistency and discipline at the very same
Yes.
time, and how both of them are important. You know, I will try to leave the link of the person I'm talking about on my YouTube channel. You'll check him out. He delivers a very good information about consistency and discipline. So I just wanted to ask you, have you seen the recent trend that was happening about e-hailing in Soweto?
Yes, yes, sure. I'm well aware of that.
What's your input? What's your take on that?
Um, I don't have much to say about it. I mean, it's just violence that just happened, but I can't say much. I don't know anything. I don't,
Yeah.
yeah.
But do you think that the e-hailing people are abusing the taxi industry people, or the taxi industry people are abusing the e-hailing people?
I mean, I feel like it's like,
50-50.
yeah, it's the, yeah, so that's the one flaw that you would get in any business,
Mm.
that it will have its struggles,
Yeah.
so it's something that you can't, sometimes you just need to continue putting the work and work
Yeah.
and leave the authorities to deal with it. So yeah.
Okay. In terms of your work currently, how, like, is there, if let's say for instance someone who wants to go into e-hailing now, is it much more easier with what is happening, or it's difficult to get into e-hailing in terms of like the market, or it depends on where you are, on the days?
Yeah, I mean, like any other business,
Yeah.
there's ups and downs, and pricing issues and all of that. But I mean, it's Unfortunately, the only resolution to most unemployment people at the moment, it has been absorbing quite a lot and feeding a lot of families. So it's something that we cannot shy away from to say. It's been, uplifting families where, incomes were, disturbed due to unemployment and all of that. So from that perspective, it is good. So it's just I, I don't know, the violence between the two associations, and just maybe needs proper processes or systems that will handle both, and provide benefits for both equally. So that's just that for now. But that's just from my point of view where I'm seeing it, or from how I'm seeing it. So yeah, that's basically that.
So, as we talk about entrepreneurship, we need to discuss the basics on does one how does one start
Yeah.
to become an entrepreneur, or what are the basic steps one can take to be an entrepreneur. Then we will come to what are the small startups that one can start, any youth, doesn't matter of the location, doesn't matter of where you are, how much you have. We will unfold that after we discuss the basics on how to get into entrepreneurship and the basics.
Yeah.
So for me, first thing first, you need to spot an opportunity, a very, very serious pain point that you see in the community where you stay or around you. Spot the opportunity, then create a solution. Then from creating a solution, you need to map out your action plan on how you're gonna act toward that pain point problem.
Yeah.
And that solution, it comes with having risks as well,
Yeah.
So I just want to discuss that on, and I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs when they start into business, they tend to give up fast. What is the challenge there? Why do most startups fall down so early? What do you think might be the problem?
The problem for me is, or it would most probably be because you put in and expect scaling tomorrow.
Yeah.
Put in capital now. If it's a capital based business where you need, for a startup you need a capital, you get a capital, and then tomorrow you expect 100% of sales, whereas you haven't built a clientele or client base. There's no data that you have that says this is an amount of customers that are going to come and be interested in my trade. And also the way we are putting out our products out there, I feel like we sell the product as it is. I'm selling the glass. You're not telling me what can I use this glass for. So you're not selling me an emotion, but you're selling me the product as a whole. So remember, most consumers buy because of emotion. They don't buy because this product is nice. If you buy a gadget, you know already the features that it comes with, because they sold you that.
Yeah, no, that's
You get
true.
what I mean?
Yeah,
So we are buying. So the way, in the way that we are pushing our products, maybe that's why we, number one, we have high expectations, and unreachable expectations of, I'm selling glasses today and I'm expecting them to be completely sold out by tomorrow. But then I'll have 100% profit, 100%, you know, a return on investment in a way, So we look at it that sense, in that way, but that's not actually how it works, because if you're selling me a glass, rather for you to say I'm selling this glass, rather tell me I'm selling this. I have a container that will make your summer more cooler. Because it's a glass, obviously you can put ice and drink cold smoothies and whatever. So so that is the way of how businesses need to approach things.
Just to add on that, as I do my own research involving entrepreneurship, I come across this solution that most entrepreneurs use, especially on the outside world. I don't think a lot of people use it here. I don't know, but I've seen it on the outside world. What they do is, if they have an idea or a niche, they run a campaign first, whether a service or a product. They run a campaign for that product or for that service.
Yeah.
To check, okay, how many people are going to respond to this?
Yeah.
Yeah. They check how many people are going to love this before they can say, okay, we have stock, now we are ready to sell, without having to know the market on which on how your customer base is looking. Because I think it's very important to run that campaign on your product or service, just to get the feedback before you can launch the business.
Yeah, but also that is it's like a two-way stream in a way, because you might launch and sort of pulsing it, testing whether it's going to work or not, and it actually works for you. And sometimes you might not even pulse it at all and not testing it, and boom, it's like it's a great product. Because I think it will be maybe your finding out of the need was exact on point. This is what they needed, and it solved many problems, so that's the reason why. But pulsing, it's always a way of like they say, testing the waters, checking the warmth and the cold of water. So that is the only way you can get into a market, checking whether it's working or not, and try it in different areas, geographical areas as well. Because you might look at it from this area that it's going to work, only to find that it's actually not for here, but it's for another province.
So sometimes
yes.
Location,
Yes.
geographical, okay, I understand that. It's very important to check those things sometimes, depending on what type of a business you're doing, or service.
100%, yeah.
So do your research before you start any startup. Make sure you have a full research on whether you are at the right place at the right time. Is your product or service in demand?
Yeah.
Is it a pain point in the community? Does the community need it? Not want. Do they need it? Is it something that they need in their daily lives? Because at the end of the day, you might sell a product or service and nobody is looking for it. You need to do a thorough research on that. And also, I think one of the reasons people give up so early in their startups, let's leave capital for a second and just focus on other things.
Yeah.
Because I was watching this other podcast. It's called Diary of the CEO. There was a competition there. They had 3 panel speakers.
Yeah.
All of them, they are entrepreneurs. And all of them, they have more than 5 startups, 5 companies.
Yeah.
They have launched more than 5 companies.
Yeah.
So the host put 3 suitcases on the table, full of cash. The other one was $100,000, I think.
Yeah.
The other one was $1,000. The other one was $100. So they were given an opportunity to say, okay, with that money that you find, with the amount of money that you find in the case, at like the point where you were still young, and not rich, what would you do at this time? Let's go back to management.
Yeah.
In retail, that experience. where do you see businesses bleeding cash the most in terms of like margins and cost in retail?
So in terms of retail, whether it's any retail, long as it's in a retail space, businesses are losing a lot of money, or a lot of expenses come from as that actually tempers with their costs and their profits. It's from overstocking. Overstocking and poor inventory management leads to such incidences where businesses experiencing a lot of loss, and that alone is a major concern. Overstocking,
Okay.
poor inventory
Inventory
management. We're talking poor supply chain or inefficient supply networks and logistic costs.
Okay. I've also noticed.
Yeah.
It's not the first time I hear you say this. Um, I've noticed a lot of entrepreneurs they mention this word, inventory, supply, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
demand thing. How it seems like it is a very important sector in every business.
Yeah, remember, if it's a business that renders or sells products, your product you need to know where you're getting your product, which you need to have a supplier. You need to know how much product you need or how much product will be stored in your warehouse, right? So, and how much products you sell a day, a week, a month, a year, so that you don't go overboard.
Don't overstock.
You don't overstock, because overstocking will just, shatter you down. So that, and within in that space, you need to be able to have effective inventory management tools, or teams that can manage that for you. If I'm selling 100 breads a day, how many am I gonna need in a week? How many am I gonna need in a month? How many am I gonna need in a year?
Yeah,
Not talking about peak trading times where it's month end or it's school holidays, in general on average. So you need to be very precise on that. And also, where are you storing this? What kind of products are these? Are these products that are given a lifespan? How long will I have to have this on shelves for? So in managing that, it's big in business, because it also saves costs for you. Getting the right teams to do the right job at the right time as well. So your team selection, and obviously developing them now and again also helps to lower those costs in a business. So yeah.
Okay. How? Okay. I really understand what you're saying. Um, Inventory. It's the most important.
Yeah, inventory is the most important. Remember, if it's not there, then you don't have a
Then you don't have
business.
a business. Actually,
But if
inventory runs
yes, but if it's
business.
there and you are flooded with it, then you don't make profit. You're running
Still
at
a
a loss.
problem.
Yes. So a well-managed inventory gives give gives an entrepreneur less headaches.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Let's
yeah,
talk about people and operations
yeah,
in retail. We know that staff turnover is very brutal
yeah.
in retail. What have you learned about keeping the teams motivated, you know, and productive without burning out the payroll?
Yeah, so in that sense, like I said, Uguti, you need to develop your teams, have like internal development programs that develop teams and encourage your teams to, acquire certificates, to not just stand. Remember, one thing that burns out an employee is being on a same position for longer
Thank you.
and not being introduced to any development
Exactly.
programs. So companies and organizations need to start, giving out those bursaries away for employees to move up the rank, to move up the ladder in terms of, promotions, and be eligible to be hired by sister brands around,
Yeah.
It's that, number one. Number two would be to making sure that you balance, like your scheduling for their work has to be more balanced with their life. Work and life balance
It's very important.
keeps everybody intact and
On track.
involved
Yeah.
and important in a way. So make them understand, set up programs that will make them understand that being away from work worries you too much, while being at home, recovering from whatever. I mean, we're living in a world where there's different viruses, sicknesses, and whatnot. Being away to get medical attention also, you have them at heart for them to get that. Provide some streamlined ways like medical aid, So just make sure they are comfortable working for you. They also know what are expectations from you, from them, So yeah.
So basically, what you're saying is companies need to initiate programs within the company.
Yes.
That can educate employees, whether on the internal operations or any other programs that they might educate them on.
With different, trust me on this one, with different people, with different backgrounds, you definitely might find out that you have every strength or every talent that you need for your business. But because you're not opening people up to developments, you always outsourcing. Do you get what I mean? So that's what you need to always start internally, push people up for development. Trust me, you might need an HR, head of HR outside, whereas you have somebody that is actually good with internal relations, good with people, good with recruiting, but doesn't have the right skills. But personally or naturally, they're good with that.
handling,
So why not uplifting and polishing that talent and put it as,
HR?
Yes.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
So that's the only way, and I'm saying from where I'm sitting, that businesses can curb a lot of expenditure around operations and people, So yeah, and outsourcing too much. So yeah.
That is a very good point you just mentioned there. And I don't think a lot of companies nowadays, okay, not all of them, but most of them, they don't care about those things. I've worked for a lot of companies. I never came across what you're mentioning now.
Yeah.
It's only one company that I was employed with recently.
Yeah.
That I left in February. They would fund you if you want to study. Yeah, they would fund you like peacefully. So they are more than willing to do that, as long as you're willing to put in the work and complete what you've started.
Yeah.
They are people who are willing to fund you and support you throughout the whole program. So
sorry to disturb you, but also it lies with an employee as well, whether they want to grow or not.
Exactly.
Most companies have such benefits, right? But the employee interactions are very low. They're not interactive and and interested in gaining those benefits, because they are there. Benefits are there, but you might find that employees are not engaging or raising their hands towards those benefits. So companies needs to make sure that it is a work culture that when you are with them, at least one certificate per quarter or per year or in 6 months.
At least.
So
companies.
So it needs to be that. It needs to be that, especially for people with longer services. Don't just let them go, or don't just let them be in that position for long. not giving them what they need. So you can support them. So it's part of support to say, we have supported this person so long. They've been very loyal with us, and they've been with us for so long, and they are now moving up because they are going to the next position elsewhere, but that's okay because we have helped them to be where they are in a way. So that is a good feedback that companies need to always look out for. So yeah.
Okay. No, thanks for the information. I hope everyone who is listening, they are very focused on this and they take out notes, because this is a very important information with regards to whoever who wants to be involved in retail or management as a whole.
Yeah.
Whatever business you are willing to start, it does involve management at the end of the day and operations. So coming to customer retention,
Yeah.
to win a customer as a business is very expensive sometimes.
Yeah.
With competitions lined up and everything.
Yeah.
How important it is to keep a customer or to make a customer come back. What is the strategy, maybe?
Well, in my years of an experience in retail, I mean, customers are different, but customers only want one thing. You know, they wanna feel appreciated. They wanna be seen.
Special, yeah.
They wanna feel special.
Yeah,
They wanna be, So like the only, and I feel for me, it's just making sure that you remember, your customer is the only thing that had your business running.
Yeah.
Without
them.
Had your journals written, something.
Yeah.
They bring in numbers. So so you need to make sure that they are well taken care of. Well taken care of to an extent that you treat them like VIPs. I mean, you do cloud CRMs, customer management, uh, clouds on cloud, have data, collect data from that, and do marketing, personalized marketing. There's a lot that you can do to. I mean, now recently the trend is everyone has a point card or rewards program or a loyalty program that they're running. So that alone shows that businesses really want to be there for customers and show them that they are valuable and important, and they do get those benefits at the end of the day. So yeah, that is yeah.
You need to have a workout plan on how to keep customer base. And I think at the very same time, sometimes it's not really about the numbers.
Yeah.
It's about trust.
Yes.
And loyalty.
The baseline, yeah.
Yeah, it's not really about the number sometimes, how many customers you have, because at the end of the day, it might be a lot of different customers that come from different places. Some have been passing by, So having a loyal customer base that can trust you is very, very important.
That's great.
Very, very important. So keep that in mind as well. My last question.
Sure.
My last question for you about retail and management.
Yeah.
Growth playbook. If you were handed a stable but flat retail business tomorrow, what's the first level you'll pull to grow revenue within 90 days?
Sure. Okay, 90 days, that's like 3 months. Whew. Okay, let me see. Most challenges that businesses find or retailers find is the pricing model. You need to. I'll first optimize my pricing model and making sure that it's innovative, it's recent, and it's looking at the affordability of most of my customers. Remember, I would have that personalized network. I'll have like your loyalty programs that are running, collect data from there and check on average how customers are spending. check the trend, and then your prices need to always resonate to that. To say on week on season winter or summer, my customers spend 1,000 rand and more on average. One customer, and I have 1,000 customers in a month. So I need to always make sure that in winter my prices, or in summer my prices are, so optimized pricing model to say this is where I am in terms of products. Group your products according to the needs there. Most demanded products, less demanded, moderate demanded products, and group them into like one price. Don't sell me a cattle for X amount of money, whereas the same cattle next door is like 200 rand less. So you need to be sure, and also make sure you know how your competitors are working as well, how they are pricing, and if there is a chance, try and find out where are they, getting where are they, how have they become to be on that price, their products, why are they on that price as compared to you. So not unless maybe you are quality driven, durability driven person, or durability driven business where you push quality and durability, but also you also need to have some items that are similar to what someone else next door is selling for. So yeah.
No, that was very informative. I really appreciate that, and thanks for your time as well. Do you have any questions for me?
I think you've answered most of the questions that I have, but I just just want you to visit why. If I have a question, I would just ask why this podcast, why Black to Business, why the business, when people your age are going for the most trending things, the most groovy things. Why the business, and having a mechanical engineering background. So why this one? Why business specifically?
I fell in love with entrepreneurship after that 5 years that I told you that it took me to really discover myself.
Yeah.
So the love for entrepreneurship started there. Like I really have a lot of things that I'm interested in, to be honest, when it comes to entrepreneurship. But to answer your question in terms of why the podcast, why business. First thing first, I believe that entrepreneurship and business as a whole, it's the escape route for Black hunger.
You can say that again.
I don't want to lie.
You can say that
there
again.
There is no escape.
That is the only way right now we will be, putting food or bread on the table. Never shy away from the fact that we need to go to school.
Most definitely. Yeah.
We're not shying away from that, because school just gets you to afford and never have a headache about where's your next meal is gonna come from. Yes. So school. Yes. So it's there. It builds affordability, it builds sustainability, and it just builds focus and drive smoothly. Yes.
It really.
So school is important.
Very.
And that is the only thing.
Very important. I don't want to lie. As much as you want to pursue entrepreneurship and stuff,
second to business must be school.
Must be school. Because no, honestly, you can't be an entrepreneur without having the basics of school.
Exactly. So
if you can't speak English, then you can't be
who you gonna business. Converse with?
Who are you going to convince to invest in your ideas?
So sometimes it's actually, most of the time, it's important to first go to school, get the basics, and then drive.
And nowadays, to go to school doesn't mean you have to wake up every morning and go to school and come back late. There's a lot of ways to study nowadays. Exactly. Honestly, I've seen I was busy with a research this other day in terms of like how the schooling system
Yeah.
is affecting us as black children mostly.
Yeah.
I came across a headline that said that currently a lot of parents, especially here in Gauteng province,
Yeah.
they are moving to homeschooling than the traditional school thing system because of um, first thing first, the curriculum system, they don't like it anymore.
Yeah.
And some parents of it's probably because of the things that are happening at schools, bullying and all of these things. Because I don't think the schooling system that we have, it's doing us any favor. Okay, yes, I did go to school, but I'm only realizing a lot of things now.
Yeah.
Um, you can study online, as I've mentioned. There's homeschooling now.
Yeah, but you need to understand that previously those opportunities were not provided. So we must always encourage that going to school is important. Now I understand homeschool learning takes you away from actually interacting with people, where you should be like physically be with people, meeting friends, having lunch together, playing soccer together, having coffee together, if like varsity or college or wherever. But in a nutshell, what I'm saying is, as much as everything is out there in the screen,
Yeah, I
right now it's
mean,
in front of you,
yeah,
we need not to lose a touch of
social
interacting, the social, yes, because it just creates,
relationship.
yes,
Yeah,
we must be very social because we are social beings as humans. So yeah.
yeah. I think yeah, no, that's very important, and it's a very good point as well. Um, it's a very good point to be a very social person. But the point here is the system. I don't think the schooling system is educating us to. I mean, it's educating us in the right direction. Okay, yes, we are getting the knowledge, but it's more like, okay, get good grades, get a job, and
Yeah,
just live a
it's
normal
yeah, it's
life.
like a standardized routine that must happen.
That's the barrier. That's the barrier we need to break, guys. We need to break that chain. We need to break because it's the one that is taking us to the very same position that our parents were in.
Yeah,
I don't know
when
if
you're
I'm
saying
wrong.
it like that,
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know if
But
I'm
I
wrong.
think mostly the online learning should be for people that can't stay away or stay far from school,
Yeah,
or people that are in a rehabilitation center and
yeah,
they want to regain life, and those people needs to be fully through online and whatnot.
yeah. No, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
But bottom line is go to school.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
go
go
to
to
school,
school.
and you'll be fine going forward as long as you get your grades, and the rest you can decide on your own whether you wanna further study or you wanna pursue entrepreneurship. But after high school, just make sure you make
You
the
go
right
to school.
decisions.
And another thing is, remember to book for your social events, any social events. Remember again to book for the 6 on app, um, as in Kopanong, Tembisa. Please book your thingy, your social events.
Yeah,
September is around the corner. All your events will be sorted.
gender reveals.
Everything. Just book your social events, guys. It's a very nice restaurant. Check it out on Facebook, TikTok, and other Insta.
We actually have their contact
Yes.
details.
So let's share the contact details
Let's
for
share the
bookings.
contact
It will
details.
also be on the video on the screen, I believe. And just remember also to hit subscribe and like and follow for more episodes
Please,
coming
guys.
very soon. Engage us with anything. Comment section is open.
And
Engage with anything business, anything youth
related,
related. If you have any solutions,
anything that can bring Africa together,
yes,
that is an
please.
idea, bring it to us. We will help you deliver it to the world.
Yes.
And also, if there's any business or any form of side hustle that you're running, and you want people to know about it, this is your space. This is not my space. It's not his space. It's not our space. This is your space.
We are here for you. We are here for everyone.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for your time. See you on the next episode.